Recording at 12920 Philadelphia Street, Whittier, California. Keep It Up the Nerds presents issue 214. My name is Rene.
I'm Sean.
This is Bryan.
And welcome to the show, everyone.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Issue 214.
Yeah.
Not 114. Not just 14.
Not
2014.
Not 12927.
Not issue 7.
7.
Do you guys remember issue 7?
Oh my God, what was issue?
No.
7?
What was it?
Hold on, I'll look it up.
I don't even know. Let's look this. Yeah, why don't we? You want to look it up?
I'll look it up.
Okay,
Go
look
ahead.
it up.
I'm just
Welcome,
gonna-
ladies and gentlemen, to Keeping Up with the Nerds, issue 214. Don't forget to check out our website, keepingupwiththenerds.com. Check out our socials, Instagram, Facebook, and xmen.com.
Xrated.com.
Xvideos.com.
Xvideos.com.
No, that one. Don't.
Why not
No,
Xvideos?
no. Huh?
It's a good one.
Hamster.
They got longer
Stop.
videos. No, they got longer videos on that site too.
Stop.
Not like how the PH one
Yeah.
does, where it's like cut to
The
10
corn.
minutes.
The corn place.
Sometimes I need to know the story.
I do. Sometimes those edits are
Did he
really
ever get out of the
bad.
dryer?
Weird. We're like 2 minutes into the show.
Wait, you're telling me they don't love each other?
X.com. Go check out X.com and our Facebook page. Also, if you guys
You can
are
also
not.
find that on X.com too.
Everywhere.
Yeah. Just don't ask for my Reddit.
YouTube.com/Keep It Up With The Nerds. And check out our audio platforms if you guys are on the go. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. How's your guys' week? Anything exciting happen? Anything fun?
Issue 7 was our Jon Favreau era episode. I think
Cool.
because we got done watching The Mandalorian too.
Oh,
season 2.
The second
Yeah.
season. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The one
Second
the season that made me cry.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
a good season.
Oh, okay. So I talked to you guys about. I don't know if you were in the conversation, but did I talk to you guys about the mysterious rubber wires that I saw that were laying across the street?
Oh,
No.
you told me. Yeah, you told me and Nick when we went to go see a Killers game.
Okay, so over the past couple of days, I've been seeing these like rubber ropes that have been like laid out on the ground, and they're stretching from like one side of the street over to the other.
Mm-hmm.
And in my head, I was like, okay, this is kind of weird the first time I saw it, so I don't know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
The next day, there were 2 of them, and it was further down the block. And I'm like, dude, being born in the era of Final Destination, if a rope is stretched across the street, you can only imagine what the outcome of that would be like,
These are nailed down.
Yeah, exactly. So no. So I'm like, and I told Annie and I told a couple other friends. I told her, her coworker, I'm just like, I don't know what's going on, but these wires, like they're there, and it's freaking me out because I don't know if don't drive at night, because if you drive at night and someone's pulling those wires, I don't want you to get hurt.
Yeah.
I've seen enough Fast and Furious to know what happens when they hit a car.
Yeah.
So we start driving the next day, and I was about to point where the wire was or where the rope was. It was gone. So I waited a couple more days,
Yeah.
and it got moved up. And I'm like, okay, you know what? Because
There's a pattern.
There's a pattern. And I'm like,
Yeah.
this is weird.
It's moving.
Someone's
Someone's
moving
doing
it.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, and I'm like, I swear to you. Andy started making fun of me. She was just like, nah, you're hallucinating. This is all fake stuff. And I'm like,
Yeah.
it's not. It's
Your
fake
mirror
stuff.
with your
This
me
is your
with the
dad
mirrors.
paranoia.
Yeah.
This is your dad paranoia coming out.
I swear, dude, I felt like I was in an episode of Twilight Zone.
My dad does that all the time, where he's just paranoid and stuff. So one time he was coming up the stairs, because I live in an apartment and we live on the 2nd floor, and so he's coming up the stairs, and then there's like a pile of rocks sitting on top of the
I
stairs.
can only imagine what that means.
And he was like, "What the heck?" But he said the F word. He's like, "What the heck? Who did this? Is someone trying to send me a message? Is someone trying to mess with me?
Is your dad religious?
No.
Oh.
But
The pile of rocks
Yeah.
could mean something.
Oh.
so then he's like, "Is this meant towards me?" And Kylie goes, because she calls him Papa. She goes, "Papa, I just found rocks. I put them there." He's all, "Oh." He's like, and I'm like,
Oh my god, dude.
and then I look at my dad. I'm like, "Dad, not everything's about you." Okay?
What did he piss off?
Yeah.
To be this scared.
Yeah, I don't know.
It happens.
My dad had a life when my mom passed on. He had a nightlife, so to speak.
You don't know what happens, dude.
Yeah.
I've woken up with scratches on my back. Don't know where they come from. I think I live a second life, dude. And I'm just like, every time I sleep, I'm awake in my new, in the new mentality.
Yeah.
I don't know what his name is. I hope that
Your alter ego?
my alter ego is a drug lord.
Seth.
Seth. Do I look like a Seth? I don't look like a Seth. No.
You don't
I
look
feel
like a
You
drug
look
lord.
You look like you know. A
You know
Seth.
what? Huh?
You look like you know a Seth.
I think like I know a Seth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't look like a drug lord.
You don't know, dude. I could just gel up my hair and put it back, and then this is all fake.
Yeah.
It's all fake, you know.
No, everything comes off but the mustache.
Everything.
The mustache stays
The
on.
mustache is like.
Yeah.
You're a
I don't-
faceless man.
Because that's your Pablo.
Yeah, right?
That's your Pablo.
Anyways,
Yeah.
going back to the rope situation.
Yeah.
I showed it to Andy. I finally took a photo of it, and she's like, "Okay, that's a little bit weird." And I'm like, "I swear to God, dude, they're right there. Watch. When I today on Friday, I will drive by and it's gonna be there." They weren't there. They disappeared again. I showed my coworkers, and she's just like, "Why don't you Google image or reverse Google image it, search it?" I'm like,
Oh yeah,
I don't think I could do that. I found out what they are. What do you think they are?
they're for road surveying traffic.
You
and
are
stuff.
so dumb.
No.
I hate you. You're right.
I was thinking he
Why
might
can't you
have
just
known.
make me
Yeah.
build suspense?
Sorry.
Yeah, he's in the Nick chair. So like,
Yeah, that's true. And then you got to say what Nick would usually be like, idiot.
Yeah.
How did you know?
I think I just put 2 and 2 together
Yeah.
because, I mean, it makes sense.
No.
If they're putting a rope here
Yes.
on the road, it's probably to see how many cars, what the flow of traffic is like. You know,
They
Someone-
look
a
like
surveyor.
ropes, dude. How was I supposed to know those ropes had wires
Were they
in them?
white
right?
or were they black?
They were black.
Yeah, they're black and about this thick.
Yeah.
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 And then when there were 2, they were like this far apart from each other, right?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I hate, dude.
I have weird knowledge
I
for
know
things
you
that
do.
will not help me in
Where
life.
were you for the past week? I was freaking out. I was
You
just
could have
like,
gone to his
should've
house on
texted me.
Wednesday.
yeah.
They were doing Warhammer.
That
man,
is
that's-
true.
Yeah.
So Nick already bought his army.
What did he buy?
He got Necrons, which are really
You got
cool guys.
Necrons?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I think those are good. They're the metallic
How much
Terminator
would it
looking
cost
guys.
to buy an army?
Depends. There's boxes. You can buy boxes, but
Can
it's
I
very
buy
expensive.
the riders ones?
The ones on the bike?
Yeah.
The white scars.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I already went to when I went to Primetime Collectibles and I talked to
Well,
no
Gino.
Gino. I was gonna say
Yeah.
Gio, but I was like that's not right. I'm all
I
like,
know what you asked.
Yeah. You did? You talked to
He
him
told me about it,
Okay.
and I was just like, all right.
Yeah.
Ask him.
I asked him to build me a Yu-Gi-Oh deck.
Ooh.
Dark Magician.
You wanted the right
deck.
guy.
Yeah.
Gino is like a live action anime character.
He is.
Yeah.
He has
Great,
so much
though.
character.
He is so
He's
great.
awesome.
He's so great,
Yeah.
so funny, but it's so. And you know what? Even Noel is a live action anime character.
He is.
He's like Master Roshi without the horniness.
Yeah.
But unless, oh, okay, sure.
I was gonna say, I was like, wait, we're not with him 24
Yeah,
hours.
we're not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dang.
Noel's got Riz.
Does he actually like bleed out of his nose? Go like.
No, his head just gets a little shinier.
Ah.
That's how you know he's Randy.
I swear to you, dude. I went to stop by. I forget why. I think it was just gonna go say hi.
Yeah.
To the guys because Andy and I were walking around,
Mhm.
and I'm gonna stop by, say hi. I said hi, and as soon as I walk out, because Gino I think went to the restroom, he like starts running back out, and he's just like, hey, just wanted to let you know, Rene's gonna build a Dark Magician deck, and I'm just like.
Cool.
Okay, man, that's great because
Yeah.
I really want us to have like a Yu-Gi-Oh, group.
Well, yeah. So we
But
can-
it's like
yeah.
this felt like an anime like bit of just
Brian!
hey
Brian, You see
Brian,
his feet going, as he's running to his feet, looks like this.
we gotta continue building that deck, Brian.
So I just wanted to know, how's that deck going for you?
Oh, he does a little Naruto run.
All right, talk to you later.
There's a dust cloud that
Yeah.
comes over behind him. If you were to listen to this, it's all compliments, dude.
Yeah.
Trust
No,
me.
dude, yeah. You
Oh,
are
yeah.
you are a cool, awesome dude.
I mean, you watch One Piece, so
I
obviously
love
you want to
talking
live
to
an
you, man.
anime
Shout
life.
out.
Right?
Shout out Primetime Collectibles.
Shout out Primetime
Oh, great.
Collectibles.
By the way, Noel, just giving you a heads up, if they haven't talked to you yet, Renee and Nick want to talk to you about the Crow.
Oh, he came in at the store.
Oh, did he tell you the reason?
A couple of weeks ago. He told me why he likes it, but I want to wait till he talks to Nick.
Do you agree with
He
it?
made some interesting points.
He did.
I like how he
I'll
broke
talk
it
to
down.
you after the
Okay.
podcast, or we can go over there and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
after
we'll see.
this, yeah.
He's just. That's why I said earlier, you can't beat him in an argument because there's no argument to be had.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't be wrong.
He has the best conversations.
We actually-
I have great conversations with
Yeah.
that guy.
So
He's like,
we named
wow.
it something.
What'd you call it?
Noelism.
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 Because Noel has a great way of seeing things, and the way he looks at movies, especially movies as well too. He sees
Yeah.
them in a different light than the average person, or even we do. That's why I found it interesting that he liked The Crow, but not shocked because he likes bad movies.
Yeah.
So he did tell me this. Well, no, wait, I don't know if he wants me to say anything.
No, don't say
Yeah,
anything.
no, I won't
Don't
say
say anything.
It was just about his favorite Crow movie.
Yeah.
And then that's the thing.
Okay.
But yeah, that's the thing. So it was funny just to hear his points, and I was like, you know what? I'm not mad at it. Plus, it's Noel too. So I was like, I'm like, you know what, man? I'm glad he found something
To enjoy.
entertained about that movie. I'm
Yeah.
like, you know what? I'm glad you had a good time.
Yeah.
He
I'm
got his
happy
money
for
was
him.
worth.
Yeah.
You know.
I told Noel.
Well, he paid $5.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay. So at the same time, he didn't pay a full admission or used up a AMC stubs for it. and stuff.
I did tell Noel that his quotes and sayings make me feel like they should belong on a magic card.
We could honestly write down all of Noel's little quips and sayings and just print them in fortune cookies.
Yep.
We can.
Yeah,
100%. That's
yeah.
a business. That's what, you know what? That's, here's maybe, you know what, Noel, if you want to put this in your business,
Yeah.
free idea right here.
Yeah.
Ready? So what you do is any customer that buys a product, right? Have access to this bowl of Noelism knowledge.
Yes.
It's a fish bowl that you can place on the counter.
Yes.
And you know how like there's certain offices where you go where it's like take a free puppy and it's a photo of a cute little puppy. It's like, oh, that's made my day. They go in there, dig that knowledge, and it's just some random thing that he said that
Spend $100, you get Noel knowledge.
he will sit down to you personally and have confession.
Right.
That's what he would do.
I can see that happening.
Yeah. But no, I'm glad that you're building a Dark Magician deck.
Magician deck. I'm kind of excited because I want to see how I run it and how it runs for me.
Yeah.
So.
Gino is so I know for a fact that Gino will build your deck to beat mine and Nick's. So my deck was meant to try to stop every kind of counter against it. So there's multiple different things that I can do.
Yeah.
And he really wants me to not fall to Nick's like heroes deck. So he's trying his hardest.
Okay.
And I can only imagine that when he helps you build your deck, he's going to make it much more competitive than mine or Nick's.
Yeah, I told him I want it to be able to be in tournaments.
Okay. So you're going to be a lot better than I am.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah. So, but Yu-Gi-Oh is great. And I have commander decks because I still want to play Magic Commander. I miss card games.
I know.
I do too.
Going back to prime time and then seeing like watching Yu-Gi-Oh made me realize how much I do miss playing Yu-Gi-Oh card game. But at the same time, I don't like playing with random people.
Is it because
That's
you're
why-
playing Snap?
Yeah, that's why like Snap, I'm not meeting them and stuff. But
Yeah.
at the same time, we all talked about it, and I think it'd be fun if just either all four of us will play and stuff like that. I would have fun just doing that.
You can play
That would be
Yu-Gi-Oh.
fun. I can relearn how to play Yu-Gi-Oh. I've seen the speed decks. Those were easy. I don't know because like I don't know the meta.
Yeah.
I'm so far out of Yu-Gi-Oh. I don't know the meta right
So
now.
maybe this kind of perspective can change your mind. I gave up Magic when I did because everything became about the most expensive card and the best card for tournament purposes.
I feel like it's always kind of been like that though.
It still kind of is that way, but because of Commander, and
It's
having-
more in your face now because
Yeah.
we have social media. We have people making deck text,
Yeah.
making videos instead of going to a magazine or to a card shop like back in the day.
The only thing I really like about the community right now, or at least the community that's around our area, is that you're able to build personality decks. So like with Yu-Gi-Oh, Red Eyes has always been my favorite card. And so my entire deck is dragon built to basically play with Red Eyes, which is great.
I like that.
It's a good personality deck.
spicy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then you're building Dark Magician
Just
because
Dark Magicians. I've always liked Yugi as a character.
yeah.
And Dark Magician has always been a card that I've always admired.
And the heroes deck on Nick's side, it shows how old he is because how what deck
that-
he's using, but
that-
also it's a very unique deck.
That he also that I've run that heroes deck that he did. It's a lot of like shenanigans.
Yeah, but heroes, the heroes were introduced after the Yami Yugi saga.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was
GX.
GX. There you go. Yeah, I remember because I remember like listening to the heroes, and I'm like, that's a kind of interesting deck. It just wasn't mine.
That's
But-
around where I
Well,
stopped.
yeah,
Is where the
because-
heroes were coming out.
Because the heroes deck, like you can play like 2 cards and you're automatically like you're going through your deck, you're going through your graveyard, you're putting cards in your hand, you're putting already 3 cards out, and this is like 2 cards I've already activated.
Yeah, the Red Eyes deck that I have works the same way, except it pulls from it's not the discard, similar to discard. It's a no void. What do you call it when it becomes unplayable?
Exile.
Exile.
It plays from the exile
Yeah.
part of it. So I'm
For
able to
Yu-Gi-Oh,
pull.
you
yeah.
can play with the exile.
You can.
Oh, that's cool.
So,
I didn't know
but
you could
here's
do
the
that.
stupid thing, and I'm just like, this is what frustrates me about like card games now. They added rule sets that are kind of and grammar. They added more grammar. Oh my god!
Just
So
Magic does it.
if did Gino explain to you the rules? now?
For
how the deck or the field is kind of laid out, where you no longer just have spaces, but they're referred to as columns because there's a link.
Nick told me.
Yeah.
Oh.
So here's the other thing, because there's a card on my deck that is explained this way.
Mm-hmm.
When you exile a card, you have to place it face down. It's in the exiled pile face down.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's other cards that say exiled pile face up. And apparently the reason why is because when there is like that discard pile, not just your graveyard but the other one, the placement also matters.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's interesting.
Card games they're not always math or don't lean heavily towards math. It's just they're just grammar.
With Magic,
hands down. Magic is a grammar game.
Magic is a grammar game, but it's also a statistics game because you want to make sure that you can pull the cards that you want, especially with Commander.
You can make your deck be as statistical as you want because you can make that mana curve. You can have AI look at like, okay, these are all my color pips out of this many cards. Give me the algorithm. Boom. Yeah.
But there's enough mechanics in Magic that I think are consistent enough that I can play with it. Exalted is still my favorite mechanic. I love Exalted.
I miss banding. I thought banding was cool.
What was banding?
No one likes banding. No one understands how banding works.
Mm-hmm.
It is that one like rule in Magic. People are like, don't.
So what is it?
I don't know how it works.
Then how do you like it if you don't know it?
I don't. I'm making a joke. I hate it. They don't make cards with banding anymore for a reason.
I was just kidding,
It's a
man.
rules
I just want to be
nightmare.
cool, all right?
I just want to be part of the class, right? Like,
Can never do nothing.
Oh, so going to the Warhammer thing. We got comic strips. We'll get to the comic strips, but
well, can you move it so we know?
Yeah, so we know.
Keep track of what time we're at.
17.
40 minutes. I'm just kidding.
Oh my God!
No, so Sean sends me over a video. It's like a 50-minute video from some Warhammer creator.
Oh, I thought it
it's
was
like
a
His name's
video of
Bricky.
himself.
Check him out on YouTube.
Yeah, he's
He has
pretty
a
funny.
lot of good videos. It's not just Warhammer, but
I watched a couple of
He's a
his.
good content creator.
But he's like, let me give you the short history of all the Marines that exist in Warhammer 40,000.
Yeah.
I thought Sean said, watch the entire video. So I watched the whole hour video.
He did.
And then he's just like, no, I actually wanted you to choose between these two, which were the Blood.
The Blood Angels and the Salamanders. But like, I sent him the link, and
Wait,
then
so are
15
you the
seconds.
one watching Warhammer videos on our channel? When sometimes because there's Warhammer videos.
that might have
we
been
get.
me.
That might have been just you.
That might have been me.
Okay.
It wasn't me.
Okay,
For YouTube?
No, for our YouTube channel, like on the suggested videos, like when I log in to get like the description for the new podcast, there's like, oh, Warhammer 40K. It's like Warhammer 40K. I'm like, oh yeah, and then there's another one of like, oh yeah,
That's not
but
me.
there's like Cannibal Marines. I'm like,
What? Which sounds pretty cool.
I was like, oh, that does sound cool, but I was like, why is it? Who's watching? I'm like, is this Sean?
No.
I was all like,
It's infectious.
Yeah.
It's sweeping the nation now.
So the reason I found out why I wasn't supposed to watch the whole video is because the scar. What are they called again?
The white scars.
The white scars are so cool. I had to stop the video and message Sean. He's like, oh. I actually just wanted you to watch and recommend these two. And I'm like, I can't, dude. This is so cool.
He was invested because 15 seconds right after I sent him the link, I sent him the timestamp. Hey, go to this part for these guys. Go to this part for these guys. But he didn't see it. He just went right into the video, and I appreciate that. You know, you're just like, okay, you know what? It's an hour long. A lot of people won't take the time out of their night, especially you were trying to wind down. Yeah,
I'm not doing that. I go.
Hey, God,
you're a good man.
Someone, can you mark down 1715 on your phone real quick? 17, or excuse me,
I'll message the chat.
1847. Oh, that way I'll put it on.
Did I
Keith
say
afterwards.
Noopsie?
Huh?
Did I say
No,
Noopsie?
he said it.
Oh.
He's fine. It's all good. He was frustrated with how much information was going his way. But
1847, you said?
1847. And write down that it's a Warhammer conversation.
For the notes, yeah.
Yeah, Warhammer, Bricky, and
White Scars.
White Scars. There you go. That's your clue right there.
You like the white scars.
Yeah, dude. There's so I like how he said, or the YouTube, what's his name, Bricky?
Bricky.
But
he
literally was just like, the White Scars don't care about, massive colonization or winning the war outright tactically. They just want to be fast and get out. And I'm like, that's cool. And they ride motorcycles. They're basically
all about
Vikings
speed.
on motorcycles.
Yeah.
That's what I want. That's cool. I don't care about winning. If I could win, great. But I want to be looking cool and fast.
You know what's really funny, and it bugs a lot of people? They love to go fast. They have bikes, but their Primarch, their leader, his model doesn't have a bike, and everyone's like, "Why doesn't he have a bike?" So it's weird that everyone else in that faction
They should give him
is
like the
on a bike,
Mad
but he
Max
doesn't
chariot.
have one. That would look cool.
Yeah.
That's more chaos, though. I don't like them.
True.
They're gross. Nick
Do
wanted
they
to
have
that.
any tanks or anything like that?
Oh, man. Do they have tanks?
Do they have speed tanks? Do they have the tank looking thing?
Spanx?
I don't know how fast the tanks go, to be honest. I don't have tanks.
The only thing they said is like, oh, people who play Warhammer hate the white scars when it comes to painting their models because white is such a different color or difficult color to paint.
It really is.
People that
white
play
and
Warhammer
red.
hate the whites.
White
It's a very
scars.
conflicted game. It's like,
Racism is a very big thing in Warhammer.
I believe it.
Amongst the players or amongst the pieces?
Or the
Depends on
lore.
who you're talking to and from that community.
Yeah. I remember when I first got back into reading comic books. This was like when the first store was over there for Undercity, and then Geeks was still a thing here. I remember always hearing about Warhammer kids, and just like they're very pretentious, very much.
That guy.
Yeah, that guy. That like actually like that type. Yeah.
Tell me 3 chapters of Primaris Space
And
Marines.
that
If you can't,
Warhammer-
then you're not a fan.
Warhammer. If you're not into Warhammer, then why the F are you living right now? Like that's, yeah.
If you're not spending money on plastic models and paint, then you're not living.
I
mean,
mean, this new Warhammer game was pretty cool though.
That and a lot of
I got
people
it.
and Warhammer is now reaching to more casual people as well too, or just it's breaking out of the nerd groups.
what I
and
Yeah.
stuff like
and
that.
here's the
It's
thing,
becoming mainstream.
which is good.
Yeah.
That's what you
It's-
want.
Not really.
I mean,
No,
we-
not
no.
really. We like to gatekeep.
We had a friend, a
No.
mutual friend between us
We
that
like to
would
gatekeep.
do just the models.
Mhm.
We'll paint the models.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, Bishop.
that's right. Oh, he
Yeah.
still does it.
He still does. Yeah,
He still
see?
does it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he still does. It's. I go back to this problem.
Mm-hmm.
When you gatekeep a property, you don't allow new people to come in
Yeah.
and be able to have conversations with them.
Yeah.
That's true.
And so that's my problem with Warhammer. There's so much lore, so much you can learn.
Yeah.
I feel like if people want to gatekeep, go ahead, keep gatekeeping because there's a lot of it. But if you can bring it and make it more accessible amongst people, you want them to learn. Star Wars suffered that problem, and it still does. You had a community that was
It's
not
a
open.
double-edged sword.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
I feel like if you just condense everything down and introduce people to a starter guide, I don't see the problem with that.
That's what they're going to do with One Piece, with the new One Piece anime. And everyone's saying it's going to be the best anime of all time because that is a one turnoff for everyone
How long
not to watch One Piece. Exactly. And the fact that they're trimming down arcs in like 7 to 10 episodes. Okay, this is going to be awesome. We're just getting story. Meat all the way.
That's the thing, though. You still have the old property, and you can still do the new ones.
Yeah.
Star Trek suffered the same thing. When the movies came out, they were just like, "This is an actual Star Trek," and I'm like, "Well, it's getting people into Star Trek."
The old
Yeah.
movies or the newer ones?
The newer movies, the ones by J.J. Abrams, and the newer or the older movies, Star Trek's 1 through 7.
Yeah.
Those are interesting too, but they're slow.
Yeah.
They're very, very slow.
Some of them are good.
Yeah, no, they're 4 and
Next Generations, I like them. I think there were 2.
Yeah. There's the
Borg
Final
one.
Voyage, or
Yeah.
something like that. The Final Voyage, or I forget what it is, and I forget the other one.
The guy with the skin, like wrinkly mask or whatever, and he in the beginning he like abducts Data.
Yeah.
And they're him and was it Riker or was it somebody else? And they're like chasing after
This is
him.
a
But
long time ago, man.
Yeah.
But it happens. But
It does. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm glad that Warhammer's getting the recognition. Now I kind of want to. Can you find out how much the White Scars are the army costs?
It's kits. So it's like, how many models do you want to get? Do you want to get certain models? The cool thing is you can just buy like a starter pack and paint them white and say these are the White Scars, and that's how it works.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I want the bikes.
The bikes are pretty expensive. They're not a good unit either. This new edition really destroyed a lot of the stuff. People are not liking
why
it.
Why are we taking the fun out of it right now? I want bikes. I want to be fast and cool. I don't care if they work. I just want to look cool. I want to send them in. Kamikaze you, dude.
You would like the orcs then.
I want the motorcycles.
Orcs go fast. They are Fast and the
I want to
Furious.
look cool and white.
Oh, I
The
think I know
yellow
what you-
orcs.
Yeah, I think I know who you're talking about. I got to repay attention to that. Are we ready to jump into comic strips?
Let's do
Perfect.
it.
All right, so we're going to jump into comic strips. After comic strips, we are going to be talking about our main topic because Rene and I went to go see Killer's Game.
Yes.
Interesting movie.
Surprise!
Fun.
The movie I didn't go see
We
again.
saw Nick
Sorry.
too. Had a good time with Nick.
Yeah, Nick, yeah, he was there. And before we get into that, one question for you guys. Bear this and keep this in mind. We're actually trying something new for the show.
Yeah.
The question for the main topic is, do wrestlers make good actors and actresses?
Yeah.
That is why we are going to be talking about Killer's Game.
Yes.
But before we get to that, let's talk about comic strips, the portion of the show where we talk about topics that don't merit a 10 to 15-minute conversation. Are we ready?
Yes.
All right. I don't have them written in front of me, so I'm just going to go off of
we're
what
just going
I
off
have of the tweets that I like.
Yeah.
Dave Bautista was in the news recently because of Killer Game, promoting the movie and everything.
Yeah.
But he had a question asked about his recent weight loss,
His physique,
which was interesting.
Which is interesting. It's funny how that was the biggest thing in the news about Dave Bautista. Was like, is he okay? Like,
I thought he was sick. I
Yeah.
thought, unfortunately, when I saw the picture of
Yeah.
him, like, oh darn,
Well, I
does he
mean,
have cancer or something?
It showed how people cared.
Yeah.
At the same time,
Definitely.
I think also when that happened to Chadwick Boseman,
Mm-hmm.
where he revealed before he passed away, unfortunately, he revealed a picture of what he looked like, and he was very skinny.
Yeah.
A lot of people thought it was for a role. A lot of people thought it was like, oh, is he just doing it just for a role? Hopefully, I hope he's doing okay. And then nothing.
So he talked about a movie that he was asked to put on weight for. It was an uncomfortable amount of weight for a movie role. I was around 315 pounds. Quote, I noticed that the more I trimmed down, the better I felt and the better I looked on camera and next to other actors. I even now saw online some people were worried about my health.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. In this interview, the interviewer asks him, I think his name is Chris Van List.
Yeah, he's a famous like mixed martial arts / wrestling person in the world. So he interviews a lot of people. He has a podcast.
Yeah. He was basically asking him about the weight the muscle he had to gain, but it started to become fat.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the interesting thing. I didn't realize that could happen to people that were built like him.
Yeah.
Because Terry Crews actually was on Mythical Kitchen's Last Meals.
I saw that.
And
yeah.
he talked about the same thing.
Oh.
How he basically, when he gained weight, it was fat that didn't look like fat, but he himself felt and saw that it was fat.
Ew.
It's interesting.
Whoa, that's
So
weird.
when you look at Dave Bautista, we grew up with him as wrestlers.
Yeah.
We knew him as Dave Bautista from WWE. That dude was basically live action Hulk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's basically what he looked like.
And I think it was like 2008 or 9. He hit his peak where he was just just
massive,
freaking
huge.
tight and everything. Yeah.
So it's interesting because when you go from that to what he looks like now, he doesn't look bad when you turn your mind off and stop thinking that he's a wrestler.
Yeah.
He looks healthy. He doesn't have the broad shoulders or the huge ass muscles.
He's just fit.
He's
Yeah.
just fit.
Yeah.
And it makes him look better. I think Killer's Game, he still had muscle and weight.
He still had some muscle mass, just not where he's at right now.
Yeah.
So, but I think in this, he's in the picture that we're seeing on Twitter. I think he's about maybe, I want to say like 10, 15 pounds lighter, or 20 pounds even. If that's the thing. But overall, I mean, he said it too. I think he even said that it doesn't make sense for him to keep his muscle mass up in his age.
Yeah.
He's 55 years old, it's fair.
Yeah.
He goes, the thing is, if I keep doing that, if I keep trying to keep my physique up, keeping my muscles big, when I'm much older, it's not going to be good for me. And he kind of that's not a jab, but if you think about it, he's kind of hinting or alluding at Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson
Or Arnold Schwarzenegger.
and or Sylvester Stallone as well too. We've seen how their bodies are. They're very misproportionate now because of they don't work out their muscles anymore. So their muscles are just either deflating or they're just getting sunken.
Yeah. I recommend to get the full interview watch this one with Dave Bautista, and then watch the Terry Crews one. That's on Last Meals on Mythical Kitchen.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's interesting to hear them talk about their weight because Terry Crews. Terry Crews is still freaking buff.
He's still a big dude, but he's not tight, but he's still pretty stocky.
Yeah.
He's stocky, and
But
I think that's what
He's not white chicks anymore.
No, but
he's not. What is it? Terrell.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not Terrell.
but
big.
he's gonna get to that age where what happens. He talks about it in an interesting way.
I think Terry Crews is a very much interesting person to talk to because of his lifestyle and the way he was talking about his childhood.
You watched the Last Meals?
Yeah, I watched Last Meals. It was very interesting to hear that you know, his parents and how their relationship was, it wasn't great. You know, his father was essentially, was an abuser.
He was a wife beater, but not like to the worst possible point you can get. He just would beat his wife whenever he'd like
get drunk,
basically.
And
not to undermine every other action, but like you can tell in the conversation that it wasn't like he wasn't bad.
He didn't hate his dad. He just had some quarrels with him and stuff, and I think with the same thing with his mom. He said my mom wasn't a saint either, you know, and stuff. So it was really interesting to hear him and his lifestyle, but then also his childhood, you know, how much he loved his childhood at the same time. He loved reminiscing, you know, and stuff like that. So Terry Crews is a actor I think just gets not a lot of love in studios. I feel like Terry Crews really does need his own movie.
Do you feel like he gets typecast too much?
He does. He does, and he doesn't mind. I think Dave Bautista is possible. I think what happened was, I think Terry and Dave talked, and I think Dave doesn't want to be typecast as just the action guy. He wants to do movies.
He was very sentimental in this movie.
Yeah.
And we'll go when we talk about Killer's Game, we'll talk about it more in detail, but there was a good separation of what they used to play, and they kind of gave them different roles. So like Terry Crews is not the sentimental, funny dad joke kind of dude. He's the guy that takes assassination seriously, and he's like, don't mess with me. Don't do what you're not supposed to do. This is a professional's game. You know, this is not, you know, for fun. And Dave Bautista doesn't have the Drax mentality or the very drama serious one. It's compassionate, caring. He's fighting for something he believes in. And there were moments that are pretty funny. We'll discuss more in detail.
His character is pretty good. So well, but moving on.
I think the last point I wanted to make was Terry Crews said that the reason he worked out was not because of his health, but it was because he wanted to beat his own dad. And that was because of the abuse. And I'm like, that's an interesting thing. It sucks. It's sad, but you know, that was a part of the conversation. Last Meals, Mythical Kitchen.
Last Meals, and they just posted it.
The today? Tony Hawk one, dude.
I saw.
They did a Tony Hawk.
Tony Hawk was there, and I'm halfway through it. It's interesting.
Does he do a kickflip at all?
He talks about his ADHD.
He has ADHD.
Yeah, but he's not diagnosed professionally. But he's just like,
he's aware that he has.
He's aware because he was like, I know him. Yeah, because he's like we should move on, but this is interesting.
No, go ahead.
He talks about how in the 80s they weren't diagnosing kids that were hyper.
It was more in the 90s. I was one of those kids.
Yeah, and he was just like, I didn't know what I had, but I know that I had ADHD because I kept doing the same thing, not because I wanted satisfaction, but relief that I actually did it, which is why he continued skateboarding so much, because he constantly practiced the tricks not for success but for relief. And he talked about his famous 900 that he did, that he attempted it on live television, having tried multiple times and doing the spins but never landing it. Was the one time that he was broadcasted on live TV that he actually pulled off a 900. And he talks about that moment. So it's interesting. Check it out. Mythical Kitchen's Last Meals. Moving on. Kelsey Grammer confirms that he's had some conversations about returning as the Beast following the Marvels. And this is coming from comicbook.com.
Well, I hope so, because, you know, the way that the Marvels ended, leaving Monica Rambeau just trapped in a separate universe that had a Beast talk and walk on screen and stuff like that. That was voiced by him. I don't think Marvel's gonna like throw that away.
No, and
do you want that design still, the 3D design, or do you want him like how he looked in First Class?
No,
you know what? I'm happy either way. I think what it is that Kelsey Grammer wouldn't want to go through the makeup process.
Good point. Yeah,
because he's older now and stuff. I don't think he has the patience, honestly.
The thing
is,
just
he looks young still. He looks like he's in early 30s.
Yeah, but
this just makes sense if they just do a complete digital character. I mean, they've done it in the past. They've done it before. They just need a reference. That's it.
Also, Kelsey Grammer is one of those individuals, kind of like James Earl Jones, R.I.P., who has such an iconic voice that it's hard to replace him. So if like they have a digital model and that's the Beast, that's kind of based off his character, or maybe even have someone in a suit and he just talks. I think that would be fine.
Well, I mean, look at the
If the actors
design.
are
I
okay
mean,
with
I'm content with this design that they have right now that they showed for the Marvels.
It's very
He gets
accurate.
Very
he get-
90s.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he gets the
Beast.
Marvel glow up that all these characters do later
Yeah.
on in the franchise. You know, Wolverine, Logan got his Marvel glow up. Even Deadpool got his Marvel glow up, and they made it known that he got a Marvel glow up.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know why people were dissing this design for Beast. I thought it was really cool.
No, it's
because
good.
they're
To be honest.
tired of the CG that goes into it. But again, there is good
No.
CG and
They
bad
were,
CG.
they were also complaining because this is in a Captain Marvel movie as well.
Okay.
and the Marvels
that
wasn't
makes
that
sense.
bad. The Marvels is pretty.
The Marvels was pretty good. I tell people this, and I'm still standing by what I said. The Marvels is a necessary movie for Captain Marvel because of it is the way that is written. In the first movie and in Endgame, she's very much like, I can do this on my own.
Yeah.
You guys, I really don't need you guys. By the time
'Cause
the
girls
Marvels
get it done.
yeah, because by the time the Marvels ends, she is much more of a team player.
Yeah.
She's much more of like, oh, I do need to be part of a team, and this is okay. I don't need to take on everything on my own. It's okay to have help from other people that are willing to help. And plus, you know, she finally becomes the mentor for Kamala, which I love. You know, it's super great.
Did you watch the Marvels?
Remember?
Oh, you walked out.
I walked
hate you
out.
so much for that.
I'm glad I missed the Flurkins. I'm glad I missed the singing planet. I don't think I
Oh,
would
that was
have.
great.
Oh, that was a lot of
You
fun.
guys liked it?
Oh,
Yeah.
it was so much fun.
It was fun. It
I
was
love
just funny.
musicals. I love musicals, but when I saw that clip, I'm like, oh man.
Well, just we're watching it, and then I turn to Bryan and I go, does this technically mean Captain Marvel's a Disney princess? He's
It
like,
does.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I forgot she was in Fast 10. Brie
Yeah.
Larson.
Oh,
yeah.
She's in Fast 10. Please, 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 can
What?
we just watch the Fast movies together with Sean?
Yeah.
I
down.
I
Let's
I
do
didn't
it.
know this. Andy
We-
pointed this out a couple days ago.
Yeah.
Apparently, I have a yearly Fast and Furious like.
Yeah, no, everyone does. Like not maybe not Fast and Furious, but like a movie or a TV show of their yearly watch. For me, it's The Office.
But I didn't think about that because
Yeah.
she's just like you do this every year. You go
Yeah.
through every Fast movie, and I'm
yeah.
like,
yeah, you did it. You did it last year too. Yeah.
why? I didn't
think-
realize
Yeah,
that.
it was before. I think you did it last year. You did it last year, leading up to Fast 10,
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
and then you did it the year prior to before Fast 9 came out. So every year before a Fast and the Furious movie comes out, you rewatch all the movies, and then we go see the movie.
It feels like a religion to me. Like,
Yeah,
I was gonna
like
say, you
it's
have
my
to do
yearly
it
like
next year.
pilgrimage.
Yeah, but there's no Fast and Furious movie coming out this year, so you just
2020,
basically
yeah.
you just
What the
watched
heck,
it. Yeah.
dude?
Yeah,
I didn't realize this until she's just like, you do
Someone
this
has to
every
point it
year.
out.
And I'm like,
you do it every year
What?
before we go see a Fast and the Furious movie.
can we watch them together?
Hell yeah. Dude, I'll wear a
Hey,
bald
we'll
cap
plan-
and
we'll
a
plan
black
weekend.
tank top.
We'll do 2 movies a weekend. How about that?
I'm down for that.
Yeah.
2 movies a week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but are you down to rewatch the?
I'm so down. I'm down to dress like Dom.
Okay, I think 2 movies a week. We all dress up in white shirts and bald
We
caps.
gotta have a barbecue.
2 movies. 2 movies a week works because of my theory, which is 1 and 2 and 3 are basically all the same, but we can do 1,
I'm
2.
gonna zone out in Fast and Furious. I don't really.
That's
care
the
for that one.
5th one, right?
That's the fourth
Fourth.
one.
The 4th
Yeah.
one.
I don't
So
care for that one.
we'll do.
But
1,
it sets
2.
up Fast 5, which sucks. So I'm just like, you can't not watch
You
it.
can't,
Like-
yeah.
How about we do this? How about we do Hobbs and Shaw first? Since
No.
you haven't seen Hobbs and Shaw,
No.
it's like a
Okay,
standalone.
We can watch
No.
Hobbs and Shaw
After 8.
after 8.
Okay.
Because that's when the whole dispute happened with him and Vin Diesel.
Yeah.
Okay.
And which is fine because 9 and 10 is its own set. So
Yes.
it's 1, 2. Then we can watch 3 on its own.
Uh-huh.
Then 4, 5, and 6, 7. Hobbs and Shaw. No.
No,
6,
6,
7,
7,
8.
8.
Hobbs and Shaw. Then 9, 10.
Yes.
Okay.
That's how we'll do it.
I'll do
Yeah,
that.
that's
but
like 6-7 weeks. Like,
Yeah. It's a
dang.
process.
Yeah.
sounds like a fun journey, a fun
It's
ride.
just fun, dude.
Yeah.
It's just like I hope to God you turn your brain off when we do it because I want just the
You do
stupidity.
it on Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
You start disassociating physics. Like
Reality, it's like
Yeah.
it sets in.
Yeah.
Moving on. I didn't know Watch Dogs was being filmed into a live action movie.
Yeah, I
well,
heard about
they
that.
just wrapped filming as of Friday. It's set in the same universe as the video game franchise.
Oh.
Interesting where this is going to take place,
Uh,
how and where it's going to take
it's
place.
the curse of bad video game movies. I don't understand it, but sure. I mean, it's I don't know. I haven't played Watch Dogs. but
Neither have I.
Assassin's
neither.
Creed kind of like messed it up for me when they did the movie and it just sucked. The one with Michael Fassbender.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, was it Michael Fassbender?
Michael Fassbender, yeah.
Oh.
In the Assassin's Creed movie.
But it wasn't Ezio
That's
or
right.
No,
Alcor.
he was a
That's
different character.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a trip.
Get that one, and then Agent 31. Or, what
Hitman.
is it? Hitman,
Yeah.
because there's 2 movies for that one.
Yeah, but that's different.
I like the first one more. Than the
First
second.
one had, what's his name?
Yeah.
Timothy Altman?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh, I forget his name, but yeah.
Yeah, no, it's Timothy Altman. Yeah, he was in it.
All right, you guys want to talk about Batman for a second?
Yeah,
So here's the interesting thing: the Penguin series, I think, already released on Max.
No.
Not yet.
It gets released next week.
Okay.
Officially gets released next week, but
8
reviewers and
reviews are
websites
out.
are watching it.
Yeah.
8-episode limited run.
Mm-hmm.
They've just confirmed, or not confirmed, but it's kind of being hinted at that the Penguin series ends a week before in their universe when Batman Part 2 begins.
Cool setup.
Here is where it gets interesting. The Penguin story plays out over the next weeks that take you towards, oh my gosh, I can't read from this far, towards the end of the year. This is coming from a quote with, what's his name? Jackson Drew? Jackson Drew?
Yeah.
Or that's the art.
That's the art,
That's
yeah.
the art for that one. But it's a quote pulled from somewhere. I'm picking this up from Bat Film News, Film News on Twitter.
They have blue check mark. It's official.
Yeah, they paid for it, right? But the reason this is kind of getting interesting is because there's so much setup that goes into it, and they've already kind of confirmed that the Penguin ends during Christmas time or during the winter.
Yeah.
There's a high possibility that if that part does become true, that the protagonist for Batman Part 2 is Mr. Freeze.
Yeah.
I would like that. That's cool.
Mr. Freeze, yeah. And that was something that Matt Reeves has hinted in the past where that was one of the villains he wants to do next. If there was a villain that he already had in mindset for after Riddler, he said Mr. Freeze was always a one that
That's sick.
found interesting. And he would take aspects from the Heart of Ice episode from the animated series.
Yeah.
So which is even better.
Yeah, because that's not a fantastical Mr. Freeze. That's just a kind of
grounded.
obscure setup, but a grounded,
A mad scientist with a cool gun.
yeah, basically. So I'm down for it.
Same,
I like
same.
that. I like that concept. I can float with that idea even if it's fake.
Have you seen the new Batman comic that came out recently where the bat symbol is just like
Oh, that comes out
sensor bar?
later next month.
What's it
Yeah.
called? We
It's the
talked about
axe-
this.
It's the axe bat.
I saw that yesterday. That was so cool. I thought that was pretty cool.
So
He
it's
weaponized
Zack
it.
Snyder and Greg. No, it's
No,
Zack
it's-
Snyder and
then another artist that he's working with. I think he worked on Dark Horse comics with. So it's just so cool because you see
what's his name?
you see Black Hat. Black Hat's wielding a cleaver, right? And he's just welling it around. And you see Batman just kind of standing there, sitting it, gets like a stick, sticks it on underneath the bat emblem, pulls it out, and then just swings. And then you see he cuts off Black Mask's hand with the cleaver in his hand at the same time. So crazy. I was like, oh my god, this is gonna be good.
Edgy.
This is good. Yeah.
What is it?
This is not the normal Batman.
Mm-mm.
What?
The Batman series.
Oh, Absolute Batman.
Absolute Batman.
yeah.
But who is the
The artist?
Yeah.
Oh no, actually.
Absolute Batman? It's right here.
I'm on the fence about the design, but I do kind of like it at the same time.
Yeah.
I lean more towards liking it.
I
The symbol
just-
threw me off until I found out what it actually, why it looks that way.
So my favorite Batman, and I know it sounds stupid, but my favorite Batman in recent years has been Bat Bunny.
Bad Bunny?
Bat Bunny.
Bat
Yeah.
Bunny. Who?
Yeah.
Put in Absolute Batman 2024 because it's good. It thinks you're looking up. Yeah.
It is Greg Capullo.
No.
Are we sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm positive.
Are revealed.
Correct us in the comments, please.
Can you click on it?
Oh, Nick Draga, whatever, how you pronounce his name.
Yeah.
But it's Scott Snyder and Nick Drogata. That's who's working on this set.
Yeah.
But I've always loved the Bat Bunny suit. If you're not familiar with that storyline, it's after Death of the Family
No, it's after.
or Death in the Family.
No, it's after Endgame.
Endgame. It's after
Yeah.
because Death of is before Endgame.
Before Endgame. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's after Batman dies, after the Joker and him basically fought to the death. And Commissioner Gordon's like, there's no Batman in Gotham to keep the city safe, so we're going to start the pilot program that we had originally, which is what if we made a Batman suit for Gotham PD? And he's essentially Batman in a giant robotic bat suit that has bunny ears.
That's
It's
cool.
so cool.
That's
It's
cool.
so
That
cool.
sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, I have the run. I just have to take a look at it, but it's an interesting run. All right, moving on. Flappy Bird is back, ladies and gentlemen.
I saw that.
Yeah, so after 10 years, it's officially set to return to the store.
Crazy.
Nothing has been revealed yet, but it does sound like...
So this was his Batman costume that they gave him. Ooh. So this is the Batman costume, and he gets a gun, but it shoots out little batarangs. And then, then when he gets into real fights, he has a mech suit.
That mech looks...
Yeah.
Whoa, let me see that.
Hold on, let's see. Get a better picture. Yeah.
I want an army of them.
Yeah, see, it's like cool. A giant mech suit. Yeah.
That's
it's
really cool.
It's cool.
So, real quick, this video that you saw right here, do you know who R-Truth is?
Who?
R-Truth, the wrestler?
Yeah, he doesn't know. I don't think he knows.
Okay, so anyways, did you hear about the sportscaster that went on IG Live by accident, filming himself, like, having sex with a girl?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oops.
And he, after he said that, he was just like, oh, sorry, it was because he went on IG Live, put the phone to the side, and they were just doing it for like I think 3 or 4 minutes.
Wait, so he meant to do that?
No, he just doesn't know how to work technology.
How old is this guy?
I don't know. I think in his 50s. I forget his name. Anyways,
was it his wife or was it?
We don't. I don't think he's married. I don't know.
Okay.
Anyways,
just an oopsie.
He said, "Oh, sorry, my IG got hacked."
Oh
and
my
then
God.
He actually admitted it the day after. He's like, okay, it was me, my bad, I'm so sorry. So R-Truth is, there's an entire thread.
Oh God, wait, is he doing anything?
He's just doing it. Yeah, he's reenacting it.
He's just making the motion.
But there's a whole thread of like, dude, R-Truth was just in the comment section going like, dude, Unk's going wild, man. Then he makes a video of just this doing the exact same thing, funny. Dude. I'll show you afterwards because it's got a lot of grunting in it, but it's so funny, dude. R-Truth is just killing it.
R-Truth is just great.
Yeah.
I'm so glad he came back to the WWE.
So I forgot to mention, going back to the Mythical Kitchen show, it's I don't know why they said Mythical Kitchen podcast because it was on Last Deaths, but Tony Hawk says that we're working on something the fans will truly appreciate.
Oh, a game?
This is in context to working with Activision. So it's back, but we don't know exactly what they're working on. I don't know if it's going to be another Pro Skater.
I hope it's going to be better than the remake that they did. The
did
buggy.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It was just a
Pro Skater 1 and 2 was not that bad.
It was a buggy mess.
At first it was.
For a good
but
while.
It's okay. I mean, people that still play it because it's fun. It's Pro Skater. Yeah. I mean, what are you going to do?
I'll boot up the 64, slap it in.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
1 and 2, that'd be great.
Yeah.
I think 2 had the blue cartridge, right?
I think so. Yeah. I just want to know if how the new Skate's going to be.
Oh, Skate 4, 3?
It's just called Skate.
It's just called Skate.
It's just called Skate. Yeah. I didn't realize. I never rode a skateboard. I never tried, but I did wear a lot of skater gear.
Yeah,
really?
I wore my favorite shoes were World Industry shoes.
I like Hess's
with Flame Boy and Wet Willie.
Yeah. It's interesting, and skater culture is kind of weird. Ian McGregor got his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Finally,
cool. Christian Haydenson was there to give a little speech.
His speech was great.
Quote.
Wait, you said Conor McGregor. You mean Ian McGregor?
No, I said Ian McGregor.
Did you? I don't know. We'll have to look back.
Yeah.
Comment down below.
Let me know if I said Conor McGregor. Yeah. I thought I said Ian McGregor.
Yeah.
Ian McGregor receives a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Christian Haydenson is there to give a speech. Quote, the best Jedi Master anyone could have ever hoped for. I love you, brother. So great. It's interesting that, and not interesting, I love that these two reconnected again after they basically came back to play their original roles with Ian McGregor playing Obi-Wan Kenobi in the Kenobi series, and Christian Haydenson finally getting that love that we've all had for years, but fans finally grew up and said, okay, he was a great Anakin Skywalker. So cool. So interesting to see. Let's see if there's anything else. Coca-Cola Wars is a movie that's going to be directed or produced by Steven Spielberg.
That's going to be a movie?
Follows the Pepsi's attempt to challenge Coca-Cola's century-long reign as the world's top cola. This is according to Deadline.
I mean, Coca-Cola is the superior cola.
I feel like they're just
what do you guys think? Is it Pepsi or Coke for you?
Coke, 100%.
I'm a Coke. I'm a Coke person.
Coke, yeah.
Cherry Pepsi though is, in my opinion, better than Cherry Coke.
No, you have to pick a side. You can't dip. You can't dip. You die with
the
only
cherry soda guy.
The only Pepsi soda I will tolerate is Pepsi Zero Sugar.
No,
it tastes better. It tastes better than regular Pepsi, But I mean, if there was no Coke and I had to drink a Pepsi product, it would be Pepsi Zero Sugar.
I'd rather
I
die
wish
than
I
drink
wish
Pepsi.
Taco Bell had Coke.
Pepsi Max was good. Have you guys ever had Pepsi Max?
No, you know what was good? Pepsi Clear.
Pepsi Clear. Oh, Pepsi Crystal.
Pepsi Crystal.
Yeah. That and Blue Pepsi. Blue Pepsi was just raspberry. Was just raspberry cola.
Yeah.
It was good though.
The only Pepsi product I will die for, Mountain Dew.
Oh yeah.
Mountain Dew, 100%. Best drink of all time, dude.
You guys remember
Code Red.
Pepsi One?
It's in there. It's in there.
What? I'll watch. I'll look at the can and you're just like, oh yeah.
Oh, there's that, dude.
You remember
Pepsi
DNL?
One?
DNL.
No.
It was the 7-Up logo upside down, and that was their new soda. They called it DNL.
Soda marketing's weird, man.
Yeah.
Food Theory actually did an episode about marketing and why they do certain things, which is interesting.
Oh, yeah.
I remember.
Man, that's 2000s.
Yeah, man. Great new taste. Pepsi One. I'll send it in the group so Nick can put it in.
I got 2 more pieces of news. Then we'll talk about Killer's Game. Josh Brolin apparently passed on playing Hal Jordan in the Lantern series. According to the Hollywood Reporter.
So a lot of people were already saying that or looking into it, and they were just like, "Oh yeah, someone else got offered." People are saying that they want Chris Pine to be Hal Jordan now.
Chris Pine?
Chris Pine. Captain Kirk from the new Star Wars.
I'm okay with
Star Trek, I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's fine. Actually, you know what? This is an interesting piece. I wasn't going to mention this because I completely forgot, but I think it's important. So there were reports that Beyond the Spider-Verse was being delayed into 2026 because most of the movie got scrapped for creative
control.
Creative
differences.
Yeah. Chris Miller then responds to the reports of Beyond the Spider-Verse being scrapped for creative reasons. Nothing has been scrapped. The reels are coming along nicely. So I don't know what to believe about this situation because what is it? Across the Spider-Verse was last year with the movie supposedly coming out this year. Then next year.
It was supposed to come out last month.
And then it got delayed into 2025, no month, and now it's indefinitely delayed with nothing else.
Yeah.
What kind of creative indifferences are out there or could exist in a movie like this that basically was already a planned trilogy?
I think it has to do with licensing, or maybe Marvel Studios wanted to go a different route with the Spider characters that they were alluding.
You think that their creative indifferences were because Marvel wanted to connect them to the multiverse to pull the Miles Morales into the live action?
Wouldn't licensing be like done first before production goes in? Because as you're in the middle of production, you're kind of like in the air waiting to see if we get clearance or not, and that's money that we're losing as a studio staying open, waiting to hear getting the legal red tape. I would feel that they would already have the clearance.
It's kind of complicated because the three of us have noticed this with the last movies. Did you watch the last Venom movie?
Yeah, of course.
So if you kind of picked up on this pattern where Sony is trying to like take elements of the MCU and adding them to their end credits, and then the MCU is doing the same thing, but at the end of it, they basically take it all back. Sony takes away what Marvel added, Marvel takes away what Sony added.
Yeah.
That became relevant the first time around when we watched the second Venom movie because Michael Keaton's Vulture shows up in that universe.
He does.
And then nothing happens to it. There's no mention of it. There's no even tease from the third trailer that just came out.
Then we get him in the Spider-Man No Way Home.
Then, okay.
End credits.
So then, Venom we get at the end of No Way Home.
Yeah.
But then they scrapped that at the beginning of the second movie.
Oh no, the beginning of the third one in the trailer.
Yes.
They see like a little thing of the Venom piece that he left imposively in 616, but then we see a general from that universe stop it. But I don't know, the guy that was, I guess, that the bartender that was working there, he looks just like he's just he looks like he's been there for a while.
Yeah.
So I don't know. A lot of stuff, that's the thing. So it's like what Bryan said. Sony and ends up changing things last minute, you know. It's interesting to see what's happening with the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse movies thing.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, we'll see where it goes. But if we see that it's a bad movie, then we know it's, you know, it is because of creative differences.
What a climax.
Yeah.
if the movie turns out bad, then we know why
we riot.
There was delays because no one could have agreed on how to write the movie.
But it's interesting that this news is popping up with the fact that they've already announced that Spider-Man 4 is in the works, that Tom Holland and Zendaya are in talks of contracts. I think they've kind of confirmed it.
They changed it to also Marvel announced that they're changing Spider-Man 4 into a multiverse movie.
And they also announced that Destin Daniel Cretton, Cretton, the director of the first Shang-Chi and director of the second one, will be directing Spider-Man 4. So all of this Spider-Man news is coming around the same time, so it's kind of difficult to understand why Beyond the Spider-Verse is being talked about this way.
To satiate our hunger because we didn't get it.
Sure, I guess. Last bit of comic strips news. PlayStation 4 Plus or PlayStation 4 Pro was announced. Yeah. With a $700 price tag.
Yeah. Ridiculous. And the graphics card, honestly, it's not worth it. It's like a $300 graphics card that it has.
Is Sony still selling the regular PlayStation PS5s? Yeah.
So
and that's a $500 one, right?
Yeah. So, okay. I understand.
No one's gonna buy it.
No.
They're just gonna buy the regular ones.
Asmongold put it very well. The markup that they're doing for the hardware doesn't dictate the price. And every PlayStation that is going to be sold, they would be making around $300 profit.
Are they doing a digital and a hard disc?
No, only digital.
Here's the problem.
Wait, the Pro's only a digital?
Yeah, yes, there's no disc drive, which is dumb.
No, hang on. Because this is where you can spice up the way it's advertised, which is a total turnoff.
Yeah.
The console itself is $700 and it comes with one controller. I think it comes also with like a 3-month trial of PlayStation Plus or whatever it is to kind of get people going into that system, into that ecosystem. If you want the disc drive, it's an extra $80. If you want the vertical stand, it's an extra like $50 or something like that. So essentially what they're doing.
Can you pull it up? The disc drive for the PlayStation 5 Pro.
The price of the disc drive?
I did not see any price listings for or any information that they were going to be doing a disc drive one. Yeah, I thought it was only
4 Pro
5.
Yeah. My bad.
That's okay.
I'm still in 2010. Pro wait, what did it? Okay, PlayStation 5 Pro
console
disc drive.
Okay.
The $700 PlayStation Plus Pro doesn't come with a disc drive, and then you can't even buy the disc drive anymore because it's sold out everywhere. You can't buy it on Amazon nor Best Buy because people are just
they don't manufacture it. Probably they stopped.
So here's the thing. So it's $80 for the disc drive. It's an extra $50 for the vertical stand because the PlayStation 5 doesn't look good horizontal. You need it vertical, so you're paying extra to get it that way. And then the membership is an extra $100. So you're essentially gaming with a PlayStation 5 for $1,000 is essentially what it is if you want the best possible video gaming experience. Yeah. So I wanted to talk about this real quickly because Jeff Kingsley, Jeff Kingley? I don't know how to pronounce it.
Jeff Keighley?
Keighley, thank you. He tweeted out when the PlayStation 5 Pro was announced, the PlayStation prices of every single one that has come out over the last 30 years. So he said PlayStation 1, and this is with the change of inflation. PlayStation 1 was $611 according to the inflation adjustment that would happen now. PlayStation 2 was $446. The PlayStation 3 $778. The PlayStation 4 $538. PlayStation 4 Pro $522. PlayStation 5 $606, and the PlayStation 5 Pro $699. This is with the adjustment of everything. With the current
inflation rate.
Thank you very much. I didn't like this post.
Why?
And the reason why is because I like what Jeff Keighley does when it comes to, promoting indie developers and those, developers that are trying to make a name out for themselves in the environment. What justification do you need to do to give Sony the idea that this is an okay pricing? As the consumer, we have control of buying it or not.
I don't think that's what he was doing. I think he was more displaying the information like, hey, guys, by the way, this is...
It's information, to me at least, it feels like he's trying to justify why the price is the way it is.
Where do you feel the justification is there? Does he at all agree?
Why do you need it? Let me ask you this. Why do you need to put the pricing for everyone? The pricing
because
is what it is.
Because that's the concept of the tweet. Its main focus is showing the price points with inflation. Just like, hey, did you guys know?
Okay. I don't think that Sony needs that especially with how stubborn they've been
Yeah.
for the last couple of years.
Big time.
They've won the war. It's fine. But that doesn't mean that you get to milk their customers because they're in that ecosystem.
Oh yeah, people are hating Sony right now.
Yeah.
Which is
rightfully so.
Yeah, which is why I don't like the Apple ecosystem. Everything that you have in the Apple ecosystem, you need to have Apple. Every Apple product, every Apple software is the best way that you can enjoy it.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I like to have my freedom with my technology. With this, I feel like Sony needs to understand that a $700 price tag, fine if you think it's acceptable, explain to us why, because the images that you showed us or the video you've showed us in the presentation wasn't good enough, especially when you're basically promoting games that are years old at this point. There's nothing new, nothing that's definitely yours, you know?
I mean, people are still having a hard time finding PlayStation 5s to this day,
Yeah.
which is crazy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So-
I was fortunate enough to do the sign up for the Sony Lotto thing that they were doing. You sign up for it, and then you get an email, and then they have, like, I guess what they do is that, like, they'll release a certain amount of whatever they have at the warehouse, and that you get an email that comes in and says you've won. So you basically are entered into, not to a queue, but then to a website of purchasing one, and it's only limited to one. And yes, I just did it on a whim. I'm like, I'll never happen, but I would regret if I never did it. And I did it, and I got that confirmation email. Luckily, this is when I had a credit card that was working at the time, and I was like, okay, I'll just charge it.
Ring it up.
Yeah, and then
2 controllers.
and then it came in like a week and a half later.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? I was like,
you're buying it directly from Sony.
Yeah.
Which is what made it so much better.
Yeah.
Because
it made it easier.
Yeah.
You know, you're basically, it's just, you're
third party.
You're just
Nothing like
waiting.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, you're just waiting. Because I remember when third parties or even when it went down, when people were buying it and then reselling it, oh my God, people were charging like $1,000 or $2,000.
It's ridiculous pricing. I mean, for me, this is my belief when it comes to gaming. Gaming is no longer a hobby; it's a luxury.
Yeah,
and that's kind of like comic
unfortunately.
books. We talked about this, where people can't really buy comic books because they have to price their budget elsewhere.
Yeah.
So it's become a luxury if you can even buy it. And the shameful thing about this is that it's becoming a luxury. And a lot of people that want a game have started to go back and playing old games. Like, I have no interest in playing anything. Emulate. I have no interest in playing anything new. I'm playing Kingdom Hearts, doing a complete run of that.
Yeah.
And when the games become a little more affordable or they're on sale, then I'll go pick it up.
Yeah.
Then you can argue it's like, oh, well, you're in the console spaces. Just build a PC. Just do that. I've told this to Nick, and it's the fact that when it comes to PC gaming, it's not easy to get into, especially when you have no idea. You can buy pre-builds. You can try to learn as much on YouTube. But it was me watching videos for a full year, Linus Tech Tips and Austin Evans, and just paying attention to the technology trends and going all that stuff to fully understand how to build a PC. Not everyone has that time nor the attention span.
Yeah.
So, and the other thing is that you might spend $1,200 on a mid-range PC with a pretty good graphics card. You still have to understand how to set those settings up. And it's not as easy as you think because, again, you might be good at it, but the person who's trying to learn might not understand the lingo or the things that you need to do.
Yeah.
How do you access the bio?
Issue, so I will not get a PC.
Yeah, there you go. But if I were to
can't.
tell you how to access your bio, do you know, or your BIOS, do you know how to do it? Do you even know what a BIOS is?
A BIOS?
No.
BIOS.
BIOS?
BIOS.
No.
Exactly.
Not
But
a
again,
laptop.
exactly. You can do it on your laptop.
Oh.
Yeah, but again, the BIOS is just the motherboard's like little. I might get scrutinized for this because it's not 100% it, but it allows you to change settings on your motherboard and kind of like change certain things.
So like Task Manager.
Task Manager, but at a very in-depth like way. It allows you to change certain things like your fan speed, CPU. You can overclock your CPU from there.
So that's how they do it, because I do see people doing stress tests of like, let's run Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
On this really old
laptop.
laptop.
Nick is the better one to explain what a BIOS is, but to me that's how I understand it. But yeah, it sucks that the gaming space is more expensive.
Yeah,
and
it really is.
Yeah, so I don't know. Hopefully it becomes a hobby again for people.
Collector's editions are like thousands of dollars now. Before you would, like when Black Ops 2 came out, you could get like that drone or like the little RC. I think
that
it
was
an
Black
RC
Ops
car.
3.
Black Ops 3.
Black Ops 2 is... Oh, no, that was futuristic.
Yeah.
I think Black Ops 2 was the night vision goggles.
No, I think it was a drone, because drones were featured in Black Ops 2.
Oh,
I
right.
think it was a drone.
Yeah.
And that was like $130, And it's like you're getting a drone and a game and a bunch of other DLC stuff.
Yeah.
And now a box, like you get the statue, the steel book, a little art thing. $1,200.
I think the
Like, why?
Mortal Kombat 1 Collector's Edition was $250.
Jeez.
Steelbook, statue,
Came with like a book
some
too.
DLC, some art book.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you the one that I spent a lot of money on. It didn't even come with the game. The Mass Effect helmet. The collector's edition for the Definite Edition.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was literally the helmet and then lithograph, and I think that was it. And it didn't come with the game.
Mm-mm.
It was like almost $300, I think.
I think there were some even collector's editions that came with the game, but it was a digital copy. But you get the steel book.
Yeah.
But there's no
disc.
Yeah. And
BioShock Infinite was like that when I got it. I got the bird.
Oh, the songbird! I was
Yes.
so lucky.
I got my card towed one time and I never pulled it out. And I had that statue in the car.
In the car?
No.
Yeah, because I had it. My car died on me, and freak accident. But I had that statue, and I had a few other game stuff that I had because I was working at GameStop at the time. I had a bunch of like promos and like codes. Well, not codes, but like PlayStation subscriptions for the 3 at the time.
Oh, okay.
And it was like all stuff that I was gonna like just keep for myself. And my car's gone, my stuff is gone. Cool, this is a terrible day.
Is it somewhere crushed in a graveyard?
No, that I had to do other stuff with that car, legal stuff.
I remember when I
Recalled.
Okay. Gotcha,
I remember when I went into GameStop. This was going to be the first time I was finally deciding I'm going to get my own console. Every console I had as a kid, it was always like a hand-me-down from like my brother or someone in my family that didn't want it anymore. So I had a PlayStation 2 for the longest time. And then I think one day I was like, I'm tired of because PlayStation 3 was already out, Xbox 360 was already out. And I remember hearing like the games were always better. Like there was one for Wolverine Origins,
great game.
Yeah, where if you get the PS3 and Xbox 360 one, it's the mature version. If you get the normal PlayStation 2 one, it's T for teen.
Really?
It's not bloody. And I remember playing the one on PlayStation 2, and I was just like, this is like really lame. But then I remember watching playthroughs of the one that's on Xbox and PlayStation 3, and I was like, oh, that one's gory. What the hell?
That intro is so cool.
So, oh my god, so good. So then I went into GameStop, the one off of Beach Boulevard and Imperial Highway.
Okay.
That GameStop over there. I as a kid, I walked everywhere. So I walked there, and I'm just like looking at the consoles. I'm like, okay, well, Xbox is like $350 to like $400, but then the PS3, the slim one, is like $299, and I was like. So I asked the worker, I go, so which one's the better console? Because I'm thinking about getting a console, but my friends have Xbox, but I've always been a PlayStation person. He goes, oh, well, to be honest, Xbox is good for like community. Like if your friends have it, you probably should get it. But how long have you played on PlayStation? I go, I've had PlayStation 2 for like 10 plus years, and he's all like, oh, well, the features you get are really good. But the one thing, pretty much they do the same thing.
Except one looks at porn and the other doesn't.
Yeah, that's he didn't say that to like a 12-year-old kid, but yeah.
You were 12 at the time, okay.
So then he goes off. But if you want my personal opinion, I go for the PlayStation 3. I go, why the PlayStation 3? Because it has a Blu-ray player in it. So
Didn't
essentially,
the Xbox one did?
No, the Xbox had HD.
Yeah,
you can watch HD movies. But this was like during. Yeah, that's the thing. This was during the war of HD movies, which was in the Burgundy.
That was
cases.
the film industry's Coca-Cola versus Pepsi.
Yeah. And then Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Was the competitors too, and they were just side by side. And I know the biggest thing that turned the tide was porn. For these
it really boiled down to that.
Yeah.
I love how Tropic Thunder even touches on that as well. And I'm like,
and so then I was like, Blu-ray? I go, really? Like those new DVDs? He goes, yeah, Blu-ray, man. That's going to be the future. And I go, oh, okay. I'll take the PS3. Yeah.
And then you turned around and he was gone. He was like the shaman.
The store wasn't even there.
The store was gone.
He walks out with his PlayStation 3. Turns around, he's like,
it was an abandoned Bed Bath & Beyond. And I went beyond. No.
I swear, dude, it's a GameStop. He's right there.
So we got this Xbox and PlayStation.
There's like a homeless guy that's high on crack wearing a GameStop shirt that's all torn and tattered. But yeah, so that's how I basically was the decision made for me. I just remember that specifically, that conversation with that employee.
I just can't wait for GTA 6 to come out because I know that that's going to just kickstart a bunch of like, why can't I play this on this or that? And
so many.
That's when the new console should come out.
Fortnite's gonna be dead for a while.
No, it'll still be active.
Think so?
Yeah, because
a lot of kids do play GTA.
Yeah, and they can just
especially just
download it
online.
online.
Yeah, online.
You don't have to go in person.
The
now.
online aspect is gonna be.
But bear in mind, Rockstar hasn't done well with their community online. Red Dead Redemption 2's online features were garbage.
I don't like the Red Dead Redemption 2 community because those guys take RP to like an annoying level of like consistency. I see some videos on TikTok. I'm like,
no,
you get no action.
Think about GTA Online, how they almost messed up their their economy.
How?
They were giving out too much cash to players, that their economy basically became just a bunch of players buying expensive cars and planes and stuff, and it just became chaotic. So they had to like try to backtrack it.
That's cool how you can pull information from video games like that, like statistics, because they did that with World of Warcraft when the rat plague broke out, and they actually used that diagram to implement real life. Like this is as close as we, and I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Video games will teach us.
We'll pull this up after the end of the podcast. But that brings us to the end of comic strips. Let's talk about Killer's Game and the question that was asked before we even started comic strips. Do wrestlers make good actors and actresses? Killer's Game. Let's start with that. Yeah. Interesting movie. Didn't know what it was about. On the drive over there, Rene is just like, this basically is a movie about a dude who discovers he has a terminal illness.
I was shocked to know that I was the only one that knew of the synopsis of this movie.
I think because
the
trailer
didn't even coming out.
The trailers were rare and far out in between. Yeah. And it didn't give me the story, so I don't know how you pulled up this information.
Well, I just watched the trailer.
I didn't get that from the trailer.
I got no
Everything
marketing.
was in the trailer. Everything was in the trailer.
I have to watch the trailer just to see if I can pull that out.
Because Nick didn't know either. That's the thing. He knew of it, but he didn't know the story. Because when they did the reveal of the plot twist, I was like, that was in the trailer.
I didn't know.
Yeah, they're like, oh crap.
So it's Dave Bautista plays a hitman. Basically plays a hitman.
Yeah.
And
terminal.
He retires people.
Oh.
Yeah. So he meets this girl in one of his missions, falls in love, goes to a doctor's office because he has headaches, finds out he is terminally ill. So he says, you know what? I have a life insurance policy. Going to make sure that, my lady is, taken care of.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put a hit on myself. And when he does so, right before the clock starts for the assassination attempts, doctor calls him and he says, hey, I messed up. You're actually not going to die. So
you're fine.
You're fine. And
damn.
that's where the entire movie begins, which is just great. We all liked
cool
it.
Setup.
That's why.
That's a really cool setup.
But Rene was the only one that knew.
Mm-hmm.
And I was
how. I just watched the trailer and just remembered it. So
it's a good movie. I think we all had fun watching it.
I was really looking forward to it because I wanted to see what kind of action that Dave Bautista can pull off, especially being in a leading movie that he is in this one. I told Bryan I don't want him just basically be like picking up guys and throwing them. He does do it in this one, but he does more gunfighting as well.
Gun-fu, cool.
And then he does a little bit of knife play as well too. They use grenades like crazy.
Explosions.
Yeah.
Sick.
I would have thought like Michael Bay produced it, but no. But they did it. The explosions were really good as well too.
It wasn't overplayed. It wasn't overdone. It was just interesting that they used explosions to move characters around a lot.
Yeah.
So whenever they would blow up, they would be moved to a different part of like a certain area.
That's smart, actually.
Yeah. And I'm like,
that's a cool way of railroading without telling the audience, hey, we need them.
We got to move
here.
a different scene.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. And it was interesting to see that. But we all enjoyed it. For me personally, I can tell you that the first half of the movie, I get it, it's exposition, it's setup. It was just a little too long, but it did make me appreciate Dave Bautista as an actor a lot more.
Cool.
And he really did a good job of having a chemistry with his co-star. Yeah, his female co-star.
What's her name?
If you guys don't know, she's from she was the Mummy in the Tom Cruise Mummy. She was also
I forget.
Yeah, she was also everyone forgot, and she was also in Kingsman. She was the one with
Gazelle.
Yeah, Gazelle.
Sophia Boatella.
Yes.
That she plays the love interest of Dave Bautista.
Yeah,
she's pretty.
And really good chemistry they have.
Really
too.
good.
That's the thing. I thought it would have been hard to kind of like go off of Dave Bautista. But no, he did a good job.
It's an interesting interaction that they have between the two of them because she's playing this very like she's playing a sexy, charismatic girl, but she doesn't overuse the sex appeal. I found it to be actually tasteful because it allowed Dave Bautista to build a believable relationship with her.
Yeah.
So like there's a scene, it's one of my favorite scenes in the whole compilation of them like falling in love with each other. They're basically cuddling in bed, and then she starts performing a ballet move in bed where she essentially is being lifted up by Bautista, like
with his legs.
Yeah. And
Dirty Dancing kind of.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she's going like this, like
yeah.
That's
and it's like, oh, I get it. I get how this is sex appeal because she looked great in it.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh, but it's building that love between the both of them.
It's that intimate moments that you're witnessing, and it's great. It's good. So. But Bautista in this movie shows that he can carry a movie.
Yeah.
In an action movie, nothing less as well. And Terry Crews was a great addition. I am a little disappointed that they didn't have like a duke it out fight between the two, but I guess they wanted to just kind of like
leave it.
Yeah, let's just leave it like this. We don't really need to have them fight.
Yeah.
You know, and stuff.
So Terry Crews' character is a different hitman. His name's Love Doll.
Love Doll.
Yeah.
DAHL.
Yeah.
Love Doll.
Okay, Doll.
And he plays the playboy serial killer that, you know, takes hits and they're super easy to do, and he won't kill Joe Flood, who's Dave Bautista's character, for no less than $2 million. He wants more than $2 million. The actress I didn't know was there, but she sounded super familiar. Is what's her name? Pom Kone Teef. I can't really see it from here. She's Mantis from Guardians.
Yeah.
Oh, is that Mantis?
Yeah, that's Mantis.
Yeah.
I can't tell with the blonde hair. I didn't even know she has blonde hair. She looks great.
so different. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's her character's funny. I love her character so much.
Her character is funny. She has great lines.
Who's the guy next to her?
Drew McIntyre.
That's a wrestler.
Oh.
Yeah.
The Scottish warrior.
This was his first film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From here, he looks like Mahoney to me.
And not a big role, but just enough to get him recognition.
So, should we start talking about the main question?
Yeah.
Or do you have any other points for the movie?
Well, I mean, I was kind of just dabble into this. The reason why Drew is in here is because the director and Dave were talking, and they got done wrapping up one scene, and I guess the next thing coming up was this character that they needed to film, and the director didn't have anyone ready yet. So he asked Dave, "Hey, do you know a tall, dark-haired male that possibly is Scottish as well too, or can do a Scottish accent?" And then Dave kind of just like thought about it. He goes, "Yeah, I have someone." And then immediately went on Instagram, showed him Drew McIntyre from WWE, and was like, "Yes, him, get him.
That's the guy."
Yeah, that's the guy.
That's the one.
He fits perfectly. I need him.
So you have a very good cast of characters.
Yeah.
Drew McIntyre has a brother who's played by Scott Adkins.
Scott Adkins, yeah.
If you've seen John Wick 4, I didn't know this. Rene was the one that pointed it out. It's the fat dude that John Wick fights in the club scene with the rain.
Scott Adkins is a well-known mixed martial arts actor and fighter as well too. Yeah.
So this brings to question, right? Because we enjoyed the movie, we enjoyed Bautista. This is the first time we've seen Drew McIntyre, who's the Scottish warrior in WWE, act in a movie. We liked him.
Yeah.
We liked him. He was very entertaining.
Even for the time that he had on there, it was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't too little.
Yeah. Perfect. So the funny thing about Drew McIntyre's character and Scott Adkins' character, they play Scottish brothers. So they added this little thing where you can listen to what they're saying, which is just English with the heavy Scottish accent, but they would subtitle their conversations.
I love that.
Yeah.
So
that's funny.
So they'll say like, you'll understand maybe 5 words in the sentence. Then there's like 2 words out of place. And then they kind of had the subtitles of what it really meant to what they were talking about.
Yeah.
And it was great. It was actually funny. It added more humor to it, and it made it more interesting when you watch these characters talk.
Yeah.
You know, because you're kind of like, I want to see what they mean, what they say, but what it really means. And everyone was laughing whenever they read the subtitles.
Yeah. So like there was a part where they're walking into the castle to fight Joe Flood. And I think Drew McIntyre's character says like, "Oh, you know, they're telling us to F off." And the subtitles are like, "Oh, they're telling us to leave." So it's so great.
It's so great.
But this brings to question: do wrestlers make good actors or actresses? We had this conversation last night somewhat because we've started to see a rise in a lot of wrestling individuals or wrestling superstars going into acting. You saw
How many
this.
do we have? Can you put it up?
Wrestlers?
Yeah. How many wrestlers do we have in movies at the moment?
So the big ones are Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Yeah.
We have
Batista, obviously.
Batista, John Cena. John Cena's another one. Drew McIntyre just started. He said who was it that was in a movie as well? Another wrestler? We're talking about this.
Recently?
Not recently.
Seth Rollins.
Seth Rollins was supposed to be in Brave New World, but apparently his lines got cut. But it was confirmed that he was going to be in the new Captain America movie. Goldberg was in it.
He's been in a few movies.
Yeah. Who else did we say?
Stone Cold Steve
Austin.
Goldberg has done a couple of stuff.
You mentioned one that played in a baseball movie or something like that. Or in a sports movie.
Oh, yeah. The Stone Cold Steve Austin in The Longest Yard.
Okay.
The Longest Yard.
Yeah.
Any Expendables movie.
Oh, yeah.
Has a bunch of them.
Has a former wrestler in it. Or a MMA fighter.
Yeah.
Who else?
Trying to go down the list in my head. Point being, there's a lot of wrestlers that have went out
to pursue acting.
Exactly. I don't know if you knew this, but before Triple H or Paul Levin took over, Paul Levin, who's Triple H, took over the creative
marketing and stuff. He's like the chairman now, right?
CCO or something like that.
Oh, okay.
He's a creative director or something like that. Basically in charge of WWE. He just took over about a year ago after Vince McMahon basically stepped down and sold all his stocks because of the things that came out about him. He's had the ability to change the contracts of wrestlers to go out and do their own promotional work, be it in movies or be it wrestle at a different organization. You have like AJ Styles, for example, who went from New Japan to WWE to New Japan to WWE again, and now is going back to Japan to do some promotional work out there. There's that freedom of contract or freedom within the contract to go do some other stuff. You didn't have that in the back.
Damian Priest was supposed to be in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever.
There you go. Yeah.
He was supposed to be in it, but got taken away.
Their contracts are a lot more free than they used to be when Vince McMahon was in charge. A lot of the times what ended up happening was that Vince McMahon was very serious about wanting to keep it within the network, within the family. So if he felt like if they were to go out and have their names be out there, it's not promoting WWE enough. So we're even talking about WWE keeping their creative names.
Yeah.
If you had left the organization when Vince McMahon was around, you couldn't keep your name.
Yeah.
The specific individuals that were able to were because they were good enough, and Vince McMahon was convinced a certain way that they can leave.
He played favorites.
He played favorites.
He did, yeah.
I mean, The Rock barely got his name like 3 years back. He didn't have it. He was just Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah.
But now he's Dwayne The Rock.
Cool. He's credited as Dwayne Johnson.
So when certain wrestlers move from WWE to a different company, they have to change their names entirely or use their real names. So like Dean Ambrose, he was a wrestler for WWE for quite some time and then left the company due to how he wasn't getting enough recognition more and just creative differences of what he wanted to do. They wanted him to be a heel, but he didn't want to do that. He wanted to just basically just do matches and stuff.
This was around the time that he had beat Roman Reigns for the Undisputed Championship.
What's a heel?
A heel is the bad guy.
Villain.
Okay.
So yeah, in wrestling terms 101, a heel is bad guy or turning evil, and then a face is usually the bad guy. Or the good guy, the good guy,
the
or
face.
And then, or if you say baby face, that's usually like the main good guy, like Cody Rhodes and stuff like that. Baby face is also like the face of the company.
Yeah.
So Dean Ambrose left, and when he started in the rivalry company of AEW, he had to change his name to John Moxley, that's his real name.
So this is in the Vince McMahon era. Now that we're in Triple H's era, no longer like that. Ricochet just left WWE not that long ago. He was one of the wrestlers that wrestled Logan Paul like 2 years back, and they had a famous move where they jumped from the top rope and across and clashed each other in midair. It's pretty sick.
So now he calls himself King Ricochet.
But it's still Ricochet.
It's still Ricochet. So,
in AEW.
So the one good thing is now with Triple H now in control of everything, and Vince is not, left, and he's no longer touching the company anymore, is that Paul Levinstein, that's his real name.
Paul Levinstein.
Yeah, and he recognizes that the superstars, because he was a superstar himself as well too, he recognizes that you get certain opportunities, working for the WWE, you get a lot of outside recognition as well too. Studios want to use you because they see there's probably an intern or even even like studios executives like kids watch it and they go, look, you should cast this person in this movie. And they look at him like, oh yeah, they fit a role that we can use them in. Before, like Bryan said, before when Vince was in control, Vince was like, well, if you're gonna take my superstar, I want to be credited in. I want to be part of the process of making the movie. So usually they would credit him as a producer.
Or executive producer.
Or an executive producer, and then also that's the thing, and then he would just want to be like, okay, make my guy look good, made this and that and that. So The Rock, early on when he did like The Rundown, Walking Tall, Scorpion King, Vince McMahon was attached to every movie he did. And at that point, I think they started realizing that, okay, if we do bring a WWE superstar, Vince is going to be wanting to be a credited producer. So how do we deal with that? They go, okay, we'll tell him we'll do this, but not really, we're going to do that and that. So when he caught on that the studios were basically working around loopholes and stuff, he basically was like, okay, that's fine. I'm going to create my own movie studio then, my own production company, which was WWE Studios, where we got
See No Evil,
the Condemned, was it 12 Rounds?
Was
the
Marine?
The Marine. We started getting like these just like random WWE films that were headlining WWE superstars, but the movies never did well. That's the thing.
No.
The movies were
that was
always
production.
Yeah,
I wanted the premiere for See No Evil.
Were there any movies with wrestlers that acted well in them?
So John Cena got his recognition from the Marine. Stone Cold Steve Austin was already a well-known name, but he had his own action movie in The Condemned and stuff, which was an interesting concept. It was the whole like, we're gonna take prisoners from different prisons from all around the world, and they have to fight to the death.
That's cool.
And then whoever lives walks free and stuff.
Death race.
Yeah, basically. And it was cool. It's an interesting concept. But then they started making sequels with different WWE superstars. Like with the Marine, I think The Miz was in like 2 of them. And then there was other superstars that did like The Condemned. I think Randy Orton was doing The Condemned, and then Randy Orton did also the sequel to 12 Rounds which starred John Cena in the first one. So there were some that were okay, but the only one out of that whole WWE Studios kind of thing was John Cena.
So this goes back to a theme that I have, right? I believe that if the actor wants to do well, and this goes like for any other job, right? Yeah. Wants to do well in the job, in the market of being an actor, they got to kill it. And it's their responsibility to change their type role if they've been typecasted to a certain role, right? Yeah. John Cena is interesting because John Cena has played a serious character and a funny character and an extremely wacky character. Yes. He has a range. Yeah. And I feel like you can get all of that with Peacemaker, how he's managed to be emotional, funny, and
ridiculous.
Serious. Yeah. Serious. Right? I feel like Bautista is getting there, and that's because he's allowing himself to be put through the rings of having different characters. Yeah. Drax, he was comedic relief. Yeah. He was the buff alien dude, but he had comedy behind him. Yeah. You said that he was very serious and very dark in the Knock on the Cabin.
Knock on the Cabin.
That was a great one. I liked it. I liked his acting in the movie.
He was really good in that one, playing the whole kind of like conspiracy typey, kind of like culty, kind of like, I'm doing this for the greater good and stuff like that. You don't understand.
This is beyond me, and I'm sorry. You're just in the way.
I think I might watch that movie.
It's good.
It's good.
Yeah. It has a good ending. Also, it also has the actor that played King George in Hamilton. Oh, he's cool in it as well too. Yeah.
The dad, right?
Yeah, one of the dads. Yeah. I think it was the white one. Yeah.
Yeah. But see,
the one in the robe. Yeah.
See, and look at Dwayne The Rock Johnson. I feel like here's the funny thing about him that I find interesting. He tries his hardest to play different roles in different genres of movies, but he ends up playing the same role.
He ends up playing he ends up playing the same role. Like, okay, when he did the same thing for like Rampage, and what was the other one? San Andreas. He kind of played the same type of character. And then also when he did Hobbs, they're all the same type of character.
And you know what's funny? Black Adam is basically those characters if they had superpowers and a much bigger ego.
Did you guys see Jungle Cruise?
Yes.
Okay, how was he in that?
Jungle Cruise, he's actually comedically funny in that one, but also has that adventure character type.
But the interesting...
Jumanji.
Yes.
Yeah.
But here's the interesting thing. Oh, yeah, because was he in Jumanji? He
Yeah,
was in Jumanji.
He was in all of them.
So the interesting thing about The Rock, and this is me talking about Fast and Furious again, he has great one-liners.
Yeah.
And it's his ability of deliverance that makes it funny. Like in Fate of the Furious, the Dark Dom saga, there's a sequence of events where Jason Statham's character and The Rock are basically in separate jail cells because he gets framed. Dwayne gets framed, and Jason Statham is playing... Oh, you've seen Hobbs and Shaw? No? Okay. Shaw is evil. He's this hyper, super athletic and, very aggressive and dangerous assassin. They're arguing with one another, going back and forth, yada, yada, yada. Doors open, giant jailbreak happens.
Yeah.
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, or Hobbs, starts chasing Shaw. And in the process of the chase, he runs into this criminal that he put away.
Yeah.
So then the criminal goes like, "You know how long I've been waiting for this?" Pulls out a shank and starts spinning it around.
No, I'm just kidding. He doesn't say that.
Oh.
And he rushes Hobbs.
Yeah.
And Hobbs grabs the shank, turns it around, and stabs him.
Yeah.
And it's the deliverance of this simple line that makes that entire sequence so great. He says, "Well, then keep waiting, bitch." And then stabs him.
See, The Rock has great ones like that, but I feel like John Cena is the more superior comedic actor.
Yes.
Did you see Jackpot with him and Awkwafina?
No.
It's so good. He's so funny in that one. What's great about it is that at the end of the movie, he builds in the movie, he's a huge TMNT fan. So the whole time he's just making references to TMNT.
Cool.
And then by the time the movie ends, he opens a TMNT themed pizza place.
Dude.
Wow.
But the thing is, it's so blatant that he uses the art, calls it cowabunga and stuff like that. And then next thing you know, there's a person that comes up to Awkwafina and they're both like doing the grand opening. And he goes, "All right, guys, thank you for coming." And then Awkwafina goes like this, and she goes, "What is this?" And he goes, "What? What is it?" He goes, "It's a cease and desist." And he's all, "Sorry, guys." He goes, "I just got a cease and desist. Eat fast." I was laughing so hard. I was like, oh, I just love the realization. Like, yeah, I guess we're not doing this now.
And this is John Cena.
Yeah, this is John Cena.
But see, that's the thing is that they all have their qualities as long as they can stick with it.
Yeah.
And I think Bautista is kind of going into the genre of like being in between Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and John Cena. Because he can still have range.
Well, Bautista has that charm of playing a big dumb meathead.
Yeah.
He's done it in Drax. He's did it in Glass Onion, and it's funny. It is funny.
Yeah.
Again, but I think he wants to branch out of that. So if anything, he needs to also branch out in different types of comedy as well too.
Yeah.
I haven't watched the ones he did for Prime, which is My Spy.
Oh. Okay.
1 and 2 he did apparently. Apparently it was good enough they did a sequel. The first one at least.
Here he's playing an interesting character that's not just big bulky meathead. He's athletic and smart. Yeah. He can understand.
He's also funny too. He does bantering. He does some good bantering with the other co-stars.
Oh, there's a confession scene that's just great.
Yeah, that's so great.
That's so good.
So funny. But Dave Bautista, I think, with going off of this film, I'm confident that the next film he does will be good. Yeah. I'll watch it. Yeah. I'll follow him.
In conclusion, right, to end this little podcast they say we have, I think that the actors that are in wrestling just need to be given a shot, and it's a good thing that Triple H is allowing wrestlers to go out and try new things. Yeah, because how else are they supposed to survive when their bodies are done and they can't give anymore? Yeah, Rey Mysterio's pulling 40s. Yeah, he's in his 40s and he's still doing moonsaults and bouncing off the ropes. And
Undertaker can't even step in the ring now.
Yeah,
because his legs are just done. His back is done. His joints are done. So the only thing he can do is, do a podcast, which he does. It's called the 6 Feet Under podcast, which he
cool
just
name.
He talks about his old wrestling days with I think it's either a fan or a person he's involved with. Yeah. As of like business wise, and they just talk about random stuff. Like they just had an episode with Kane. Kane was in it, and they're just reminiscing on like the first night they fought together. Then they became tag team partners, and they fought again, and then Kane was like, then they talked about the Big Show, where their time when they had to team up with Big Show, and then Undertaker, apparently Big Show was coming out of WCW, so he had like this like in his head where it's like I'm like hot shit and stuff, And he basically tells it like, so he's not meeting the marks that Undertaker is telling him to do. So Undertaker, if you know the Undertaker, if you followed his career, you know that he's very much a nice guy. He gives new talent a chance, but just don't F it up the show. Don't ever F up the show, because he's all about, I want to make a good performance for people. I want to entertain people, and because they're buying the product, and we have to make sure that product is good.
Yeah.
So Big Show was just not hitting the marks. He was being sloppy. So in the middle of the match, you see Undertaker getting pissed off and just slapping the crap out of Big Show in the face. And then Kane was just laughing because he's like, he just did it in the middle of the match, dude. there wasn't like, oh, let's step out, like, oh, okay, let's talk, get your crap together. No, he literally did it in the ring while the ref is doing this, telling him, he just goes like that to him. It's just like, he goes, get it together, man, and stuff. So it was so great.
133.30.
Oh, 133.30.
133.30, and then you can say it's the S word, and it's the talk about Big Show's ego.
Yeah.
Wrestlers just need to be given a chance. I feel like if you watch enough wrestling, you get to see the acting ability of certain wrestlers. Like Seth Rollins is super good at what he does. He knows how to build a good promo, right? Damian Priest, I feel like right now, if we were to talk about like current wrestlers, the roster right now, Damian Priest still needs a little bit of work, but I could potentially see something good coming out of him. I feel
scumbag
like,
drug dealer.
Yes. I think that the thing right now is that it allows the wrestlers to put an age, like a retirement age of like, okay, I think I can step away from headlining matches and being on Raw or SmackDown every week. I can kind of step back and do some projects that I want to do on my own, which is great. And it gives them a different option. If they're done by the age of 35 or 40, they can go into acting. And there's still actors out there that start at like their late 30s or 40s and, you know, continue to have healthy acting careers. Yeah. So you just need to kind of allow that freedom. And I think Triple H is going to allow that.
It's also it works in the reverse as well too, because whenever the writer's strike was happening this past year, that's when The Rock appeared back in WWE and was doing the whole WrestleMania thing. You could tell though that, you know, he wasn't getting work done, so obviously, okay, then I'll just go back into wrestling for the time being. And then when the writer's strike ended, they wrote him off. It's like, okay, he's gonna go do Moana 2, because they just announced they're gonna be filming that or recording that, and so he's like, okay, yeah. So he just disappeared in the bush and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's good, you know, whenever wrestlers, it's good that, you know, Triple H is like, okay, you can go ahead and do whatever you need to do. Just know that, you know, I'm not going to close that door on you. You want to come back and do it, that's fine. Go ahead.
They have the freedom to do so.
That's the thing.
Do you think they should do a biopic of Chris Benoit?
No,
you don't think
let it be.
Okay.
Let it be, because that's a different subject overall.
If it's you could do it years later, like Iron Claw, where you can have maybe like one living person from the estate, you know, telling you this, that, and this is how it is, this is how it needs to be. But as of right now, he still has a son, and I think he has also another daughter out there as well too.
The ones that he didn't kill.
Yeah, basically he had an older son.
I was seeing people wanting Pedro, or a fan cast of Pedro Pascal doing this, doing the biopic
of Eddie Guerrero.
Oh, there we go, Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah.
Eddie Guerrero, not Chris Benoit.
No, Chris Benoit is different. Here's because Chris
Eddie
Benoit,
Guerrero.
Yes, Chris Benoit is a different subject because he was wrestling in a time where concussions and head injuries weren't taken seriously, and that was around the same time that the NFL was ignoring that.
I mean, they still ignore it.
They still do, but this is like legitimately like not acknowledging the fact that these people are suffering.
There's no correlation.
Their
what are
brains
you
are
talking
deteriorating and
about?
stuff. Yeah, because they think when they did they looked into Chris Benoit's brain, he had like so many holes.
His brain was beaten.
Whoa, holes?
They found legit holes in his brain, and he was having seizures without knowing them and stuff like that.
So that goes into a different subject. Talking about, you know, people that have had massive head injuries, and I think that's why his biopic wouldn't work. I think Eddie Guerrero, there's not much yet. You got to give it some time, because Eddie Guerrero's acknowledgement is on the rise, and that's with Rey Mysterio, Zelina Vega, oh my gosh, La Liga de Fantasma. What's his name?
Crap, I don't know.
I forget, but you have different groups, and even Dominic Mysterio, who are continuously not promoting him,
embracing
but
his legacy.
Embracing his legacy.
Mm-hmm.
This is Eddie Guerrero, but give it time. I think it would work. Regardless of it, wrestlers need their shot.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that they're picking themselves up and doing this.
By the time this episode airs on Friday, will be the McMahon documentary.
That Friday coming up,
Yeah.
right?
That's this Friday coming up. So when
I thought it was the 18th, so it'd be a Wednesday.
Oh, is it? I thought it was the 20th. I could be wrong.
Let's look it up.
It's the same day when this episode airs then. Oh yeah, you know what? I'm probably gonna watch it at midnight. Yeah.
Vince McMahon document.
Oh, it just went.
Oh no.
Just went.
Vince.
Yeah.
McMahon. I'm just gonna spell it. Men. What?
It says it right here. Netflix.
There it is. Mr. McMahon.
That's just all. You're gonna log into Netflix. Go ahead and.
Why can't I see this? Right here. See if you can dig out. September 25th. You're right.
September 25th. Okay. Dang.
Yeah, it's gonna be a while.
Wait, December?
September.
September.
Yeah.
All
It's
right.
gonna reveal a lot of stuff. I'm super.
I'm excited. I want the tea.
Yeah,
I'm
Give me
Even
that.
Andy
wrestling
was-
drama.
yeah.
Let's go.
Even Andy was just like, I kind of want to watch this, and I'm like, Are you serious? And she's like, Yeah, and I'm
It's
like,
gonna be
This is the stuff I grew up with.
juicy.
Like, this is where you're gonna know, like, okay,
Yeah.
this is like there was some messed up stuff.
You
but
know how long it's been since we've had a documentary that's like a super exposing one in a while. Was basically the same director that did this one. Was it the Joe Exotic one, the Tiger King?
Yeah.
Oh,
And if he's doing this one, it's just gonna be just as good and better.
Yeah.
You know, there's gonna be episodes where he's gonna reveal a little something, and then you're gonna want to watch the next one.
Yeah.
You're like, dang, no, you're just like,
Stop it.
Yeah.
Let me breathe for a
I have to
second.
go to work in 3 hours.
All right. Any last thoughts on Killer's Game or wrestlers?
No,
No?
that was it.
All good?
Yeah.
All right. Well, that brings us to the end of it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Oh my gosh, I'm already over this
Yeah,
issue.
I'm tired.
Thank you so much for watching or listening to this issue of Keeping Up with the Nerds, issue 214. Don't forget to check out our website, keepingupwiththenerds.com. Check out our socials, Instagram, Facebook, and xmen.com. Check out our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Keeping Up with the Nerds, and check out our audio platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Podbean. Leave a 5-star review where applicable. Are we ready to wrap this show?
Yes, we really need to end this show now.
All right.
For Brian's sake.
Take it away.
Yeah. Thank you guys for watching Keep It Up with the Nerds, issue 214. My name is Rene.
I'm Sean.
This is Bryan.
And we'll recording at 12920 Philadelphia Street, California at Undercity Comics. We'll see you all next time.
Bye.
Later.
Bye.